Here's a quick look at CT Toys' rendition of the Mafex number 75 Amazing Spider-Man. Not much more can be said about the origins and history of this iconic character, so for this I'm going to be focusing more on the time frame that this figure is trying to emulate, the 80s to 90s era of Mark Bagley and Todd McFarlane artwork. Writer Tom DeFalco and artist Ron Frenz did some of the most iconic changes to Peter's storyline during the 80s. They introduced things like Peter's black suit, his relationship with Mary Jane Watson, and many more defining characteristics for the character. Afterwards, writer David Michelinie and Todd McFarlane, a now industry titan, took over the reins. They didn't take any time in creating their own iconic takes on the character. In fact, they introduced Venom, someone who is now so popular that he has sort of become a hero in his own right. Many view this figure from Mafex as a McFarlane Spider Man, but another iconic artist who defined Spidey's look took over after McFarlane left. His name was Eric Larson, and in my opinion, these eyes match up with Larson's artwork very, very well as the musculature and general gymnastic design for the character. After that, my favorite artist, Mark Bagley, took over the reins. Mafex, and by extension CT Toys, represents Bagley's run with these giant bug eyes, iconically designed to look exactly like Bagley drew them in the 90s. Now, sadly, Mark Bagley's time with the Amazing Spider Man comic series would be marred by the tragedy of the Clone Saga. Originally, it was a very interesting idea, but it was marred by publisher disputes and arguments over how to actually end this series that dragged on for most of the 90s. While Bagley's artwork was at its absolute best, the writing was at its worst, and his time with the character is more remembered for all of those controversies than his actual artwork for the character. A good thing, though, is that Bagley was able to take over the artwork for Ultimate Spider Man, a line in the 2000s to reinvent the character. This was extremely successful and has come to be known as Bagley's best work on the web slinger. The changes that were made by Todd McFarlane, Eric Larson, and Mark Bagley, along with their respective writers, would continue to be mainstays of the Spider Man mythos.